and what is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Hey, what's up guys? Trent here. Have you ever used Amazon.com before? I have. Assuming you didn't grow up in the Himalayan mountains, you've probably used Amazon before, and more specifically, you know who Jeff Bezos is, the founder and CEO of Amazon. He's worth over $200 billion, and Amazon has grown to be over a $2 trillion company, one of the most powerful in the world that's ubiquitous and many people rely on for their daily lives. Who better to listen to and take life advice from and also get a little bit of inspiration and motivation from than Jeff himself? I think you guys are really gonna love this video today. It's two parts, it's a contrast. The first part is a video interview of Jeff in 1997, 3 years after he had founded Amazon. He talks about why he chose Amazon, the idea behind it, the strategy, why books to start. And then fast forward 20 years later, there's an interview of him talking about reaching over $200 billion net worth, creating one of the most powerful companies in the world, and just talking about some life insights in general. I think you guys are really gonna love it. Before we get into the content, make sure to subscribe below if you're new to the channel. The goal of this channel is to reach over 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would really appreciate your help if you could do that below. Hope you enjoy the content. Let me know any thoughts you have in the comments below, because I will certainly be down in there because this video pumped me up as well.
Where did you get an idea for Amazon.com?
Well, 3 years ago, I was in New York City working for a quantitative hedge fund when I came across the startling statistic that web usage was growing at 2,300% a year. So I decided I would try and find a business plan that made sense in the context of that growth. And I picked books as the first best product to sell online, after making a list of like 20 different products that you might be able to sell. And books were great as the first best, because books are incredibly unusual in one respect.
They say one of the toughest things to do on the internet is to capture Mindshare. What was your secret? How did you do that?
Yeah, even more generally, I agree with you that capturing Mindshare on the internet is extremely difficult. Even more generally, it's the late 20th century, not just the internet. Capturing attention. Attention is the scarce commodity of the late 20th century. And one of the ways that you can do that, and it's the way that we did it, was by doing something new and innovative for the first time that actually has real value for the customer. That's a hard thing to do, but if you do that, then newspapers will write about what you're doing, customers will tell other customers, and you'll get a huge sort of word of mouth fan out. And that can really drive and accelerate businesses. And that's what happened with us. In the first year of opening Amazon.com to the public, we didn't do any paid advertising. And all of our growth was fueled by word of mouth and media exposure.
I saw little ads at the bottom of the column of the New York Times.
That was our very first advertising. We don't do that anymore, but at the very beginning, we did little tiny ads at the bottom of the front page of the New York Times. Successes compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. So, bold bets, AWS, Kindle, Amazon Prime, our third-party seller business, all of those things are examples of bold bets that did work, and they pay for a lot of experiments. I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon.com. Owners think longer term than renters do. So I have a friend who rented his house to some tenants, and instead of getting a Christmas tree stand at Christmas, they just nailed the Christmas tree into the hardwood floors of the house. No owner would ever do that. And but sometimes that's a bad tenant. They're good tenants, but that's a bad tenant, and it's because this is the same old thing about nobody ever washed a rental car, and you take better care of the things that you own, but one of the responsibilities of ownership, and definitely deep inside the Amazon culture, is to think about the fundamentals of the business and not the daily fluctuations in the stock price. There's no information in it. My main job today is I'm kind of I work hard at helping to maintain the culture. A culture of high standards, of operational excellence, of inventiveness, of willingness to fail, willingness to make bold experiments. I'm the counterbalance to the institutional no who can say yes. But I won't, I'm not going to be here forever. Amazon is a really, many of the traits that make Amazon unusual are now deeply ingrained in the culture. In fact, if I wanted to change them, I couldn't. If we could kind of see the future a little bit, and decided to build AWS, which has turned into a huge business in its own right. And that is, if you were always, again, one of my jobs as the leader of Amazon is to encourage people to be bold. And people love to focus on things that aren't yet working. And that's good, it's human nature. That kind of divine discontent can be very helpful. But you really, it's incredibly hard to get people to take bold bets. And you need to encourage that. And if you're going to take bold bets, they're going to be experiments. And if they're experiments, you don't know ahead of time whether they're going to work. Experiments are, by their very nature, prone to failure. But big successes, a few big successes, compensate for dozens and dozens of things that didn't work. Warren Buffett has this great quote. He says, you can hold a rock concert, and that's okay. And you can hold a ballet, and that's okay. Just don't hold a rock concert and advertise it as a ballet. Investors come in all shapes and sizes. They have different investment horizons, different approaches, different beliefs about what the right kind of portfolio looks like. And so it's not one, people use Wall Street as a shorthand, but there isn't one type of investor. They come in all shapes and sizes. And you have to be super clear about what kind of company you're trying to build, what your approach is. We laid that out in our 1997 annual shareholder letter. We said we were going to take big bets. We said they were going to fail. We said some of them hopefully were going to work.
And what is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.